Scott Woodward with you for Champion Profits and to preview Game 1, Round 1, NRL 2012. And what a blockbuster we have first up on Thursday night, March 1 at Hunter Stadium, kickoff at 7:30. And before we start talking about the teams in a little bit of detail, just take note of some of the stats. A lot of the media have got the new Newcastle team with the new list and new coach Wayne Bennett basically number in the frame. But just have a little look at the stats before we get too carried away just at the moment. The last 25 times these two teams have played, St George have won 15, Newcastle 9. Importantly, head-to-head at Hunter Stadium, where they're playing on Thursday night, played 13 games. St George have won 11 of the 13 games. That is a monumental stat. I don't think any team has got such a good away record as what St George have as when they play away Newcastle. And I think off the top of my head, I think they've won their last 5 games at Hunter Stadium. So that's an imposing record. It tells you that they're very, very happy to travel up the highway and take on the Newcastle Knights. Admittedly, they have a rookie coach, and the Newcastle Knights get the St George champion coach, Wayne Bennett. But the statistics aren't everything, but they certainly are a big factor. The bookies have got the Knights price favourite at $1.61 as we're talking, and the Dragons are $2.50. Those prices are a little bit better on Betfair. My market, I have the Knights at $1.66 and Dragons $2.50, and that's at 100% rating. So you can see that there's not a lot of value there. The bookies look to have that betting pretty well spot on as far as I'm concerned. That's not the case in all the games, and we will cover those in a different video. But look, let's just have a little look at the teams that we've got and some of the surprises. The Knights are sort of as we expected with a bit of a surprise with Tamata Tahu coming in at left centre in place of Junior Sal, the New Zealand international. Obviously, Wayne Bennett looked very much at the off-season form and very much the fact that Tamata Tahu is a better defender than Junior Sal, and that's a big factor. Also surprising to see one of his favourites that he resurrected from St George, Adam Cuthbertson, has been first selection prop forward, comes in place of the New Zealander Avan Tumavavi. That also was a little bit of a surprise. And the other surprise on the Newcastle bench is Alex McKinnon, who's made it onto the bench. The very promising Alex McKinnon. And let me say, it's another guy that Wayne Bennett has, I wouldn't say brought from St George. He was already coming, but he was with Wayne Bennett last year at St George. Alex McKinnon, great future, I think he has. So we look at the team, and it's an outstanding Newcastle team. I think just with this list and the depth that they have and the fact that they're coached by Wayne Bennett, I think they're entitled to be pre-post favourites, only because we can tick off all the boxes, and we can't do that with the West Tigers, who are the current pre-post favourites. Not to saying that West Tigers can't go on and win the grand final. I just don't think they're entitled to be favourites in front of Newcastle at the moment, just based on all the information we have in front of us. The current Australian fullback Darius Boyd will be the Newcastle Knights fullback, having his first game for his new club. James McManus has held down the left wing position. I wasn't sure that he would do that. He certainly can't be an absolute certainty for that position. They'll be looking to have a good performance from him. Wes Nagama was the right centre, and to me, he was the form player for Newcastle Knights last year. I thought he had a terrific game, and he's got to be in the team somewhere, whether it be centre, wing, or fullback. He's just in outstanding form, and I don't think he's far away from representative honours. Wes Nagama. Tamata Tahu, we know what he can do. He's been very disappointing over the last 2 or 3 years, but we know what he can do, and Wayne Bennett obviously sees plenty of him on the training paddock and put a lot of faith in him. Akila Iwate, in my opinion, the best winger in the world. He was an absolute shoe-in. Here's the strength and also maybe the negative for Newcastle. The big name players, Creagh Gidley and Jarrod Mullen, the halves, the sixes and the sevens. While they're both outstanding players and terrific runners of the ball and great competitors, there's no doubt about that, they're not what you call ideal organisers, and I think St George have an advantage there. Where I think St George with Ben Hornby have got a genuine organiser. We saw in the Charity Shield how Ben Hornby was the architect in the St George win. And while Creagh Gidley and Jarrod Mullen can talk very well and can organise. They are more of individualists and individual runners. And if I have got a criticism of Creagh Gidley, it's he hogs onto the ball too much, and he's such a dominant player. He demands the ball when quite often there's guys in better positions to get it than him, and he's not a good guy of setting up other players. He's more of an individualist. So that's my criticism of Creagh Gidley and Jared Mullen. But let me say, you'd want them both in your team. They're both sensational players, and they are a major strength for Newcastle Knights. Kate Snowden, no surprise to see him as one of the props. Danny Badiris, still at 34, I think he is. He's still one of the best hooker forwards in the world, and no doubt he'll be a Wayne Bennett favourite. He's the type of player that Wayne Bennett likes because you know what you're going to get from him. He'll keep on going straight. He'll give him very good direction, and his work rate will be enormous. And importantly, he's very, very valuable off the field, talking and training, and the way he prepares for a game. A monumental asset for Newcastle, Danny Badiris. We talked about Adam Cuthbertson coming in. I was a little bit surprised. He's more of a bench player as far as I'm concerned. Chris Houston had a great year last year, and he deserves his second-row position along with Zeb Taylor. Neville Costigan is a Wayne Bennett favourite, and no surprise to see him in the starting pack also. Matt Hilda, he's very much a Wayne Bennett type of player, high work rate. What you see is what you get, and he can come on and relieve Danny Badiris anytime he needs to, or he'll go on and play like forward. Richie Fayoso will definitely make an impact off the bench. The very promising Joel Edwards, and we talked about Alex McKinnon. It's a pretty good side, Newcastle. There's not too many weaknesses that they have in the side. The one weakness I pointed out, they may be lacking a genuine organiser with somebody to get a try when they really need to get a try. The Newcastle Knights proved last year they're one of the best teams in the competition for making breaks and looking dangerous in getting tries, but they actually didn't get across the line that often, and they were disappointing in that area. And that's a direct link back to their 6 and 7, where the Dragons did very well in that area. They're going to have the very promising Cole Stanley. I've been singing his praises for about 3 years now. Wonderful to see him finally starting at fullback. He made a big blue in the Charity Shield, but you know, it was a Charity Shield, it was a trial game, and anybody can do that. I've seen Billy Smith make those errors. Trust me, Cole Stanley is the real deal. I think he's a real gun, and I think he's a massive strength for the Dragons and will have a big year this year. Brett Morris is a world-class winger. He'll be one of the guys on that left-hand side. He'll look dangerous every time he gets the ball. Both got a little bit underdone, so the coach didn't take any risks, and he's put him in the centres. Probably doesn't think he's fit enough to play in the forwards at the moment, so he's put him on at right centre, where he'll make sure that side is rock solid in defence. Outstanding defender, Beau Scott. But he's replaced Chase Stanley, who did offer more in attack. So maybe that might be just for the 1 week, and we'll see Chase back next week. Matt Cooper, I think, is going as good as ever. He's just an absolute marvel. What a wonderful club man. And he'll combine there on the left side with Brett Morris and make St George Dragons very, very dangerous there. Jason Nightingale, international winger on the right side, outstanding. Jamie Soward, probably got the best long and short kicking tactical game in the NRL, and Ben Hornby is just an absolute marvel. He knows when to run, he knows when to pass, he knows when to kick. He reads the game better than most halfbacks, and while he's not the fastest of the halfbacks, he is a better organiser than anyone that Newcastle Knights have got, and that's a big edge that the Dragons have got in this game. Look, Jeremy Latimore has come in for Dan Hunt. I'm not a big rep for Jeremy Latimore. A little bit of a weakness there for St George, I think. Mitch Rein will be the hooker. Very nippy, will be dangerous, no doubt. A very good in for them. Michael Weyman, top-class prop, a good in for St George. And they've got their working back rowers, Matty Pryor and Ben Hornby, and Ben Creagh, I should say. Ben Creagh is the most dangerous of the St George forwards, and he will combine on that left side with Matt Cooper and Brett Morris. It's one of the best attacking combinations in the NRL, and no doubt they will be a handful for the right side Newcastle defence. Dean Young, he's been selected to start. We don't know if he will. He's had a lot of trouble with his knee, but obviously he's going well enough to be able to start. And simply because he's such an aggressive talker and he's such a very, very good organiser, the team goes much better when he's on the field, and it's very good for St George that they will have him starting in the first game of the year when there might be a few nerves around and with some of the young players in the side. On the bench, we have international Nathan Fien. I think he's probably lucky to be there. Leeson is one of the guys on the bench. I have no opinion of him. Trent, Merrin and Jack Belin are the other two props, or Jack Belin will be a back rower, but a couple of very good ins there on the bench. So look, I don't see a lot of difference in these two sides. The Dragons are coached by their rookie coach, having his first grade game, Steve Price is his name. I think he's going to be a first grade coach for many years. He's promised a lot in the lower grades and he's getting his chance now. I've had nothing but good reports about him for years and years and years. Now is a good time to see what he can do in the first grade. I certainly can't knock any of his selections. I like what I saw in the Charity Shield, the way he had the structure of his team, and I think the Dragons will do very well in this side. It's not a lot of difference to the side that Wayne Bennett had when they won the premiership, with the big exception, Darius Boyd is not the fullback anymore and he's playing for the Newcastle Knights. But we've already commented on Cole Stanley, and who's to say that Cole Stanley won't be as good as Darius Boyd in a couple of years' time. Just a little stat that I talked about, and it's worth re-mentioning. Last year, the Newcastle Knights led the NRL in line breaks and tackle breaks, but they could not convert them into tries, and they finished 10th for tries. So there you have a team leading the NRL in line breaks and tackle breaks and only finishing 10th in tries. And it gets back to what I said about Kurt Gidley and Jared Mullen. That's their job. When the teams make breaks like that, that's their job to set their runners up and make sure they get over the line, and that didn't happen for Newcastle last year. And that's the big challenge for Wayne Bennett, to get those line breaks converted into tries, but also to stiffen up their defence. I've got no doubt that the defence will be a lot better. And while I don't think there's a lot of value in these two teams from a betting point of view, I think the prices are about right. I am confident that, particularly with the rain that we have about, that it won't be a big scoring game, and I'll be very surprised if either team wins this game by more than 12 points. So I think the winner will be within 2 converted tries, and I think that it will be an unders in terms of total points scored. So there it is for me. I think we're probably looking at about around the 32 to 34 points scored is what I'm assessing it at the moment. And if this rain gets much heavier, that will even become a lot lower than that. But look, a wonderful game. We'll be doing a full preview for members on all the games. If you're not a member already for Champion Profits, sign up, championprofits.com. It's a wonderful service. We cover every sport worldwide. We tell the traders and the punters when to enter the market and when to exit the market, and how much that they should be investing in their staking plan. So jump on board. We're about to start a wonderful season. We've been profitable the last 8 years in a row, and very, very confident that we can kick off already with another profit. We've had a profitable January, February, and we're about to go into March, and I think we'll just add to that as we go on. But I can tell you that I think there is at least one really good thing this weekend, and I think there'll probably be 3 good things, but there's one team that I'm really confident on. I think they're very good over the odds, plenty of value for us, and that will be a big fill-up for members over the weekend. So hope you can come on board, hope to talk to you, and I will certainly be talking to you later on in the round. If not, look forward to it next week. Cheers.